You probably felt it the same way I did. After that Cardinals loss, it was easy to imagine the season was slipping away. But suddenly, going into Monday Night Football against the Raiders, the whole narrative flipped. In a matter of weeks, the Cowboys turned the "defense can't stop anything" storyline into "maybe we actually improved." Why? 4 roster events: the Quinnen Williams trade, the Logan Wilson pickup, and the activations of DeMarvion Overshown and Savon Rell. That's not small time. Depth. It's high-impact talent being added when you need it most. Let's be blunt. This defense has been historically poor in yards allowed, run defense, and penalties. You don't fix that overnight. But these additions are the exact kinds of answers you'd ask for if you were building a team mid-season. A true interior disruptor in Quinnen, a veteran presence at linebacker in Wilson, and 2 young players with game-changing upside in Overshown and Rell. The immediate question you should be asking is simple. Can these 4 pieces move the needle enough to make Dallas competitive down the stretch? Start with the stakes. Dallas is at a critical point of the season where winning out or stringing together a run matters for playoff hopes. The offense can put up points. If the defense can climb into the top 25, and ideally the top 20, you suddenly have games you can win even when the offense stalls. That's why this feels bigger than just 1 or 2 roster moves. It's about stabilizing the 2 levels that cost the team most this year: the line of scrimmage and the linebacker-cornerback play behind it. Now, be cautiously optimistic. Overshown coming off major knee injuries is huge on paper. He's an athletic playmaker with instincts, but expect limited snaps early. Rell is a rookie corner coming off an ACL. Rookies typically need time to adapt even without that injury. Logan Wilson provides steadiness and tackling instincts, but he's not the Wilson of 3 years ago. He's an upgrade over what the Cowboys had this season, not necessarily a miraculous fix. Quinnen Williams, though, is the one player you can reasonably expect to make immediate game-changing plays against the run and in the interior pass rush. Before we get ahead of ourselves, I want you to do something. In the comments, vote on the poll. Do you think the defense will rank top 20 after these moves? Yes? No? Too early? While you vote, hit the like button if you're pumped to see these changes live, and subscribe to Cowboys News TV. Every new subscriber helps us hit the goal of 17,000 and keeps these deep breakdowns coming. In the next chapter, I'll break down each of the 4 additions, what they bring on film, their realistic snap and roll expectations, and exactly how they address the Cowboys' biggest defensive failures. Ready for a detailed take? Let's break these 4 down one at a time so you know exactly what to expect on the field this week. Start with Quinnen Williams, the clear headline piece. On film, he's a mismatch for most offensive interiors. He can take on double teams, hold gaps versus the run, and win quick one-on-one battles inside. That's the exact profile Dallas has been missing when opponents chew up yards between the tackles. Realistically, Quinnen won't fix every schematic problem overnight, but expect him to change blocking assignments, free up linebackers to make plays, and create at least a few splash plays each game. In short, immediate interior impact. Fewer easy rushing lanes, more second-level opportunities for the front 7. Next is Logan Wilson. He's not being brought in as a long-term superstar reclamation. He's being asked to stabilize a unit. Wilson's strengths are awareness, wrap-up tackling, and playing downhill in short yardage situations. Film shows he diagnoses quickly and fills gaps with fundamentals. Exactly what the Cowboys' linebacker room has often lacked this season. Expect Wilson to be a near-immediate starter or heavy, rotation guy handling early down work and run-fit responsibilities, while younger or less reliable players rotate around him. He upgrades tackling and assignment discipline more than he transforms pass rush production. Now DeMarvion Overshown, the upside play. When healthy, He's the instinctive athletic playmaker who creates tackles for loss, chases down balls, and makes highlight plays sideline to sideline. The giant caveat is his injury history and the fact he's coming off major knee surgery. So the smart, realistic approach is limited early snaps. Think situational packages, sub-rushes, and stunt looks that let him be a playmaker without burying him in full 60-snap workloads. If he shows burst and confidence, his role will expand. If not, he'll be eased in. Either way, his presence changes how opposing coordinators game plan because you can't ignore a legitimate athletic threat. Finally, Shavon Rell, a rookie corner with high upside who's also coming off an ACL. On tape pre-injury, he projects as a top 40 type prospect, long, competitive, and instinctive in coverage. But rookies typically need time to adapt to NFL route speed even at 100% health. Add a recent ACL and it becomes a wait and see on timing and trust. Expect Rell to rotate early, handle some slot and boundary reps depending on matchups, and be protected in coverage-heavy snaps, while coaches evaluate his footwork and recovery in game conditions. Putting it together, Quinnen is the one you can reasonably expect to move the stat lines right away. Run stops, interior pressure, and fewer single-gap sacks allowed. Wilson brings steadiness and tackling. Overshown and Rell are high-upside pieces that will likely be phased in carefully. That combination gives Dallas better depth and more favorable one-on-one matchups, and it allows for smarter rotations so existing players don't get worn down playing 70-plus snaps. Quick poll for the comments. Which of the four do you trust most to change? The team right now? Vote Quinnen, Wilson, Overshown, Rell, and tell me why in one short sentence. While you're dropping that vote, hit like if this breakdown helped, and subscribe to Cowboys News TV. We're pushing toward 17,000 subscribers, and every new sub keeps the breakdowns coming. If you're good with this deep dive, I'll move on to the reality checks, the limits, the coaching decisions, and the scenarios where these additions still might not be enough. All right, Cowboy Nation. Time for some real talk. Adding talent is exciting, but football doesn't change just because names do. For every big mid-season addition, there's the same question. Can they actually fix the problem, or just patch it? Let's be blunt. The defense's biggest issue hasn't been talent. It's been execution, gap control, and coaching consistency. You can add Quinnen Williams, but if linebackers still overrun gaps or safeties take bad angles, the results won't change much. The Cowboys' defense has looked disjointed at times. Explosive one series, lost the next. That's not a roster problem, that's a rhythm and communication issue. And that's where Matt Eberflus enters the spotlight. Since taking over defensive duties, his schemes have emphasized discipline and structure, but at times the unit has looked hesitant, especially against heavy-run teams. Adding Quinnen and Wilson gives Eberflus the personnel to run tighter fronts and trust his linebackers more, but it also puts pressure on him. If the defense still can't stop the run with these two, that's no longer about players. That's about the system. Fans remember it. Even under Dan Quinn, Dallas struggled when opponents stayed patient with power runs and quick timing routes. That weakness has lingered. Eberflus's style, zone-heavy, bend-don't-break, can look solid when you're ahead on the scoreboard, but it struggles to create stops when the offense sputters. Now, with these reinforcements, we'll see if his defensive identity truly fits this roster or if it's time to adapt. There's also the chemistry question. Plugging in big personalities mid-season always risks disrupting flow. Quinnen Williams is fiery, a vocal leader type. Wilson is quieter but plays with edge. How fast can they buy into the culture, learn the calls, and align with the communication that safeties like Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson already have? One misread or mistimed blitz can still lead to those explosive breakdowns that fans have seen too many times. So what's the realistic expectation? Improvement, yes. Total transformation? Probably not, at least not instantly. Expect fewer long drives allowed, more control on early downs, and better discipline inside the tackles. But don't expect them to magically turn into the 49ers defense in 2 weeks. This is about getting incrementally tougher, not instantly dominant. Still, the timing couldn't be better. Facing the Raiders means they'll get tested by a physical run game early. Perfect for gauging how much the new front seven chemistry really matters. If the Cowboys can hold them under 4 yards per carry and force 3rd and longs, it's the clearest sign yet that the rebuild is working. Here's a question for you guys, and I want honest answers in the comments. Do you think coaching or personnel has been the real problem for Dallas's defense this year? Because that's the debate brewing all over Cowboys Nation right now. If you're ready, we'll move next into the 4th chapter, where we talk about the ripple effects, how these changes could influence Dak Prescott's offense, locker room leadership, and the team's playoff outlook. This is the moment that tells you whether those roster moves matter, the Raiders' matchup, and what comes after. Realistically, a good defensive performance against Las Vegas looks like a few concrete things. Hold the Raiders under 4.0 yards per carry, force multiple 3rd and long situations, win the line of scrimmage on early downs, and create at least 1 or 2 splash plays, a tackle for loss, a QB pressure up the middle, or a turnover. If you get that, you're not just seeing a fluke. You're seeing evidence the new pieces are functioning together. Quinnen Williams should be clogging lanes and collapsing pockets. Logan Wilson should be cleaning up run fits and preventing broken tackles. Overshown and Rell should provide rotation breathers and situational playmaking. When those boxes get checked in the same game, the scoreboard follows. Now, how does that translate to the playoff picture? Let's be blunt. You don't need a top 5 defense to reach the postseason if your offense can keep putting up points and your defense can be reliably top 20. That's the threshold to aim for. If Dallas stabilizes into a top 20 unit, fewer explosive plays allowed, better 3rd down defense, and improved red zone stops, suddenly a win streak is realistic. The schedule still matters, and you'll need consistency from the offense. But the defense becoming good enough flips the narrative from rebuilding to competing. There are 2 in-game scenarios to watch that reveal the real impact of these additions. First, short yardage and interior run defense. If Quinnen alone reduces chunk runs between the tackles, you'll see opponents forced into passing earlier and into 3rd and long more often. Second, late-game situational defense. If the Cowboys can get off the field on 3rd downs and avoid extended drives, that's the clearest sign the communication and rotations are functioning. Those small wins add up to games won. Final verdict: cautious optimism. The moves materially improve the roster and give you legitimate reasons to hope, but there are limits. Health, snap management, and scheme fit still matter. Think incremental but meaningful change. A steeper upward trajectory than what you saw pre-trades and activations, not an instant elite transformation. If you want a one-line takeaway, these additions make the Cowboys dangerous again. But only if coaching and execution stop sabotaging potential. Before I close, quick interaction. After the Raiders game, come back and tell me, did the defense change the season? Drop a short comment. Yes, changed it, or no, still problems, and say one play that proved your point. While you're typing that, do 2 quick things. Hit like if you want more breakdowns like this, and subscribe to Cowboys News TV. We're pushing for 17,000 subscribers, and every new sub